I can't believe we haven't talked about this one yet. Yes, today we're talking about sex on the job. And then we're going to watch that counter spin on this one. Be interesting to see how many people tune in. Anyway, if perhaps you've been thinking about what it will be like cleaning windows in beautiful homes, and maybe you thought that you would show up at a house one day, ring the doorbell, the door would open, and there would be Eva Longoria standing in a towel. She'd let you in and then drop it to the floor. Well, you're going to be really disappointed. That is just not going to happen. Then that isn't to say that there isn't some flirtation and things like that go on, but cleaning windows for people is mostly just cleaning windows. However, in the very few, tiny, infinitesimal size percentage of times that you actually do get someone who is a bit flirtatious, maybe seems like they want a little more attention than you want to give them, it's important to know how to handle that sort of thing. It will make or break your business. Somebody talking about you, having that get around, you can really make a train wreck of things for you, and you don't want that to happen. So, how do you handle that kind of thing? Well, I think it's important, and I'm going to, I think, probably speak to the men in my audience first, for you to realize that, we don't think the same way that women do, and it is possible for you to get the wrong idea from some of the ways that a woman will act. And sometimes someone wants a little attention, and you have translated that into somebody wants some action, and those are two totally different things. Everybody likes to get a little attention. People like to get their egos stroked. Men and women alike. We like to know, somebody finds me interesting. And I know that perhaps you're thinking that it's totally in the sexual way, and it may not be. It might be that somebody is doing something a lot more innocent than what you may have in mind. Don't mix these things up. Try to maintain a really professional attitude. Now, it is possible for you over a long period of time to have a customer that you develop a certain amount of affection for. And I mean that in a really innocent way. I've got people, members of my clientele who I've cleaned windows for a very long time, for years and years. And I like them, and they like me, and, we have a friendship that spans quite a few years. And in some ways, those are kind of the dangerous situations, because we have built a lot of bridges between us. Believe it or not, it's not all that difficult for people who are in their 40s or 50s to get involved in inappropriate relationships, just because the lines have gotten blurred over time. Things are not like on TV where people meet on the job site, they make eye contact, and suddenly they break out in a sweat, they're panting, and they just can't wait to have at it. Most of the time that really doesn't happen, but people do build bridges sometimes that lead to those sort of things over a period of time, and those are the ones that I think you really have to be careful of. Now, speaking to, I'm going to switch over and talk to women a little bit. I know that it might be very, very tempting for you to use your sexuality in order to make sales. And you've got to understand that you may inadvertently send signals that you don't want to send. It may not be your fault, but I'm just telling you that is the way things are. Most of the people that hire window cleaners are women, actually. Most guys don't really care. Okay, and so you don't get all that many men that are calling up a window cleaner. It's usually a woman. So you're really going to have to be on your best behavior and going to make sure that you act in a professional manner. When people flirt with you, you've got to Don't treat them like they're lepers or anything like that, because then they're going to want to avoid you. And they won't call you back. But if you can find a way to be really gracious about pretending you didn't see it or notice it, or not embarrass the person, otherwise, you'll find that they really appreciate the fact that you're willing to pretend that never happened. And they'll call you back again, and nothing inappropriate will happen, because people don't like to act like fools or be seen like they're acting like fools. And if you're gracious enough to let them off the hook, then you'll find that goes a long way with them. But anyway, you got to realize that the most important thing is that you remember that you're there to do your job. You can have relationships with people as long as you understand where the lines are drawn. If you find that somebody is just getting a little too clingy or a little too attached, you may have to I hate to have to really break off a business relationship with someone, but I have had to do that before, where, one woman actually out of the blue told me, my husband thinks there's something going on between us. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I've never even seen this man at the same time I've been with her. When has he seen us together? And then it dawned on me, she has talked about me to him. And I said, oh, okay. So I really had to put a lot of space between us, because she was a little too attached. And it's not just about the things that happen while you're there. Sometimes people are getting a little too attached to you, and they may start talking about you a little too much, and other people will get the wrong idea. Now, you might think, well, that's their problem. No, it really isn't. It's your problem. Your business will suffer for it. And it doesn't matter if you're as pure as the driven snow. You have to, it's kind of like defensive driving. You know how you can't help it that other people drive like idiots, but you can be aware that other people are driving like idiots, and so therefore you avoid them? Same kind of thing. Some people are not very good at handling relationships with members of the opposite sex, or to whatever sex that they're attracted to in this politically correct world. But some people aren't, and aren't very good at that, and you may have to avoid them. I hate to do that. I really do, because I try to get along with everybody. Now, I do have some strange stories, and I just want to tell you a couple of them. One of them was, I remember there was a woman that called me up, and she was very, very concerned about the fact that, look, I'm a single woman, and I'm at home, and I'm going to check you out, and I'm going to make sure. She wanted references. She called my references, and was tracking down everybody, and I was like, fine, I'm not worried about this. And she made an appointment. I show up at the house. She is clad totally in spandex, okay? And I was like, for someone who's really concerned to be dressed like this, she looked good that way, but I really thought, what was she doing, testing me or something? Well, I just ignored her, and she went and took a nap on the couch, and I cleaned the windows, and when I got done, I got paid, and I left. Well, by the time I got home, my wife says, I just got a call from this lady. I said, really? And she says, yeah, she just wanted me to know that you were a perfect gentleman and that nothing happened. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, my wife thought that this was a scream. A more suspicious woman would have been giving me the hairy eyeball. But my wife knows I'm not up to no good or anything like that. And she thought it was kind of amusing. But, that person never called me back again. And I was really kind of relieved. But, this is someone who, maybe had a bad experience, and, through the magic of transference, was seeing me as, someone that could be a problem to her. And I'm sorry about that. But, I'm just a window cleaner. I'm not a psychologist. I can't help these things. So, anyway, if I think of more stories, I'll tell them later. But I wanna live my life so that I can be proud when it's all done. Will it be long? I wanna do great things.